1.4 Linear equations in one variable. In this section, we're going to split the section up into two parts. So the first part, what we want to do is solve and determine the type of equation. There are three types that we could have. We could have conditional, identity, contradiction. Conditional is a finite number of solutions. Identity means that you have an infinite number of solutions. And contradiction means that we have no solution. I'll give you examples of all three types. Let's start with the first example. We want to isolate x. There is a fraction. We can eliminate the fraction by multiplying every single part of the equation by the common denominator. Since 4 is the only denominator, we're going to multiply everything by 4. Make sure you understand that you have to multiply every part of the equation. We need to use parentheses on the left side because we have to use the distributive property. When you multiply this fraction by 4, what happens is that 4 over 4 reduces to 1 and it eliminates the fraction. Distribute. We combine like terms. I will subtract x from both sides, add 8 to both sides at the same time. Combine. Divide both sides by 3. And we have our solution. So this type of an equation is called conditional because we have one solution that is a finite number. So this is called a conditional equation. Next example. Here we have an equation with more than one fraction, and to eliminate our fractions, we have to find the common denominator. The common denominator is going to be 8. So we need to multiply every single part of the equation by 8, including 1. And when you multiply by 8, make sure you know that 8 is actually in the numerator. Anytime you're multiplying, that number that you multiply by, it's always going to be in the numerator. So keep that in mind. So the whole idea here is that we want to reduce. 8 goes into 8 once. And so essentially these go away, and we're just left with 2x plus 1 minus 4 goes into 8 2 times. 2 goes into 8 4 times, but I need to multiply by x minus 3, use parentheses. We need to distribute in the next step. Distribute. Also, we can combine our like terms. Combine like terms. Now we want to solve. We're going to subtract 2x from both sides, add 4 to both sides. And then we're going to combine our like terms. Divide by 2 on both sides, and we get that x is 3 over 2. When you solve the equation, sometimes your answer will be a fraction. That's okay. So what type of equation is this? This is also a conditional equation because we have a finite number of solutions. We have 1. A finite number just means that you don't have an infinite number of solutions. So 1 solution, 2 solutions, 3 solutions, those are all finite. So this is also a conditional equation. Next example. So here we have an equation where you see that we've got parentheses, and we want to start off by using the distributive property. So we have 5x minus 5 From here, we are going to combine like terms. So we have, and those two, actually this should be a plus 5. So plus 5 minus 12, that's going to give me a negative 7. And then on this side we have 2x positive 7x, that's going to give us 9x minus 7. So let's look at this carefully. I have the same quantity on both sides, and if I were to subtract 9x from both sides, what happens is that we get 0 and we get 0, so the variable goes away and we're left with negative 7 equal to negative 7. This is a true statement. Negative 7 is equal to negative 7. If you have a true statement, your answer is going to be all real numbers and this just means that instead of having one answer for x, we have an infinite number of solutions. So any real number will solve the equation. You can pick any real number, substitute it into the equation, and it will be true. This type of an equation where we have a true statement, this one is called an identity. Last example. Start with the distributive property for the first step. Combine like terms. Okay, this equation, I notice if I subtract 7x from both sides, again, I get 0, and again, the variable goes away. But notice, this is slightly different. We are left with negative 7 is equal to negative 9. This is false. Negative 7 will never be equal to negative 9. A false statement means that the answer is no solution. You can also write your answer as a 0 with a line through it. That also means no solution. Either one of these works, you just need one of them on your paper. And if we have a problem where we have a false statement and also, the variable needs to go away, and we have a false statement, then this type of an equation This is called a contradiction. So our answer here would be no solution, or you have a 0 with a line through it. And then also the top part here, the solution is all real numbers.